Hello everyone, my name is Joel. Today I am going to explain a few topics in JavaScript. The topics are variables, arrays, functions, objects, and loops. First, let us see about variables. Variables are used to store data values in JavaScript. You can declare variables using keywords var, let, or const. Now let us see example for the var keyword. Var is function scope and can be redeclared and updated. That is, so it is redeclared and updated. Now let us see example for the let keyword. Let is block scoped and cannot be redeclared within the scheme scope, but can be updated. That is, as you can see, it gives the error because it cannot be redeclared since it is block scoped. But it can be updated like this. Now let us see example for the constant keyword. So this constant cannot be redeclared or updated. Now let us see about the arrays in JavaScript. An array is a special type of object in JavaScript that is used to store a list of items. Arrays allows you to group multiple values of any type and access them through their index. The index starts from 0. You can declare arrays using square brackets like this. It is an array of numbers. And this is an array of strings. We can also have an array of both strings and integers. We access the elements in the array by using their index. For example, suppose if we want to access blue color, we give the index 1 since the index starts from 0. So we got the color blue here. There are different methods for array, which are push, pop, shift, unshift, map, filter, for each. Push function adds an element to the end of the array. Pop function removes the last element from the array. Shift function removes the first element from the array. Unshift function adds an element to the beginning of the array. Map function creates a new array by applying a function to each element. Filter function creates a new array with elements that pass a test. And finally, there is for each function which executes a provided function for each element. Let us try and execute some of the methods for an array numbers. As you can see, 4 is pushed into the numbers array. Now let us see about the pop function. Now you can see that 4 is popped from the numbers array. Now let's see about the functions in JavaScript. A function is a reusable block of code designed to perform a specific task. Functions make code modular and maintainable. We can declare function in this following way. We use a keyword function for declaring the function, and then we give the name of the function, for example sum, and then we pass the required parameters, and in the curly braces we define the function. Here for example return a plus b. Now let's give an example for the checking of this above some function. Now you can see that 3 comma 4 is summed by the above function. Now let us see about the objects in JavaScript. An object is a collection of related data or functionality stored as key value pairs. It's a fundamental structure for modeling real world entities. You can create an object using curly braces or the new object braces syntax. That is, for example, let's create an object car. We use curly braces to assign the properties for the object. Let's say that the car object have the following properties. Let the brand name be Tesla and let the model be Model 3. Let the year be 2024. Let us give a method or function for this object, that is drive function. In this function we define something called like this. We end the properties by a semicolon, and then after the closing curly brace we use another semicolon. For example, if you want to access the car brand, we use the following syntax. That is, if you want to access brand, we use this syntax. That outputs here we can see that Tesla is being printed in the output. We can also access the properties in another way, that is, We can use this type of syntax which is like this. First the object name followed by brackets and then the property name. It also gives the output as required. We can also update the existing properties or also, and we can also add the properties for the object. For example, this is an example for adding a new property. And this is an example for updating the existing property. Now if we access the model property, it will be changed from the model 3 to model S. Let us see. First it is model 3 and then it is model S. Object methods. There are also object methods. Objects methods means there are also object methods. Object methods means you can define functions inside an object called methods. As we have seen in this car object example. Now let us discuss about the loops concept in JavaScript. In JavaScript, loops are used to repeat a block of code multiple times. There are different types of loops in JavaScript, including for, while, do while, and array specific loops like for each. Let us see about the for loop. The for loop is commonly used to iterate over arrays or run a block of code a certain number of times. For example, so this for loop uses a variable called I, and I is initialized to 0, and until the I is not less than 5, it continues running and then prints I at every iteration. Let us run this and see the output. So we can see that in the output it printed 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, because every time we are executing the block of code between the curly braces, the I value is updated for the next step. I value is updated to increase of the one value, that is which is I plus plus. Now let us see about the while loop. The while loop continues as long as the condition remains true. For example, let I be a variable initialized to 0, and while I is less than 3, let us print I. So this while loop runs until the condition is false. That is, it is false when I is not less than 3. Let us run and see what the output is. So it printed 1 and 2. For every iteration we updated the I value to increase 1. Now let us see about the do while loop. Similar to while, do while loop is similar to while but executes the block of code at least once before checking the condition. For example, let j be a variable. For example, let j be a variable initialized to 0, and the do while syntax is do curly braces the block of code we want to execute at least once while the condition is false, and true, and execute according to the condition until the condition is false. Now let us see this example. Here the do while loop prints I, and every time it updates value I value to increase 1, and then it checks the condition. It is executed at least once, and if the condition is false it does not execute, it stops executing. Let us see the output. So it is 1 2 3. Now let us see about the for off loop. For off loop iterates over iterable objects like arrays. For example, let us take an array called fruits. Let it contain some elements like apple, banana, and mango. Now let us use the for of loop. Its syntax is like this. We use a variable for accessing the elements in the fruits called fruit, and we use keyword of, and then we write the array name, and in the curly braces we write the block of code which is required to iterate. So let us print every fruit of the fruits array. So it iterates, and at every step it prints the each element in the fruits array. It gets stored in the fruit variable and it will be printed at every step. We cannot take the variable name same as the array name. So we changed it to fruit. You can see the output here. Now let us see the for in loop. For in loop iterates over the keys of an object. For example, let us take and create an object called person and let it have properties called name, each property is separated by commas. Now let us use the for in loop. The syntax is for braces. Let us use the pre-declared variable called key and use the keyword in and write the object name, and let us print the key and its value. So the word key is already declared. It prints all the keys in the person. And to print the value of the key we use this following syntax: object name brackets and then key. So this loop iterates, and at every step it prints the key and prints its corresponding value. As you can see the output. So these are the some of the topics in JavaScript, which are variables, functions, objects, loops. Thank you.